to Kids Alive Church. This is Squeaky the Squirrel. Hi Squeaky, give me a high five. Yeah. And today I am Princess Joanna. And we are going to talk to you about brave people of the Bible. Why am I a princess today? Who want to guess? Because we're talking about someone that is in the royalty named Queen Esther. Yeah. So there's this woman named Queen Esther in the Bible, and she is someone that loved God. But she was chosen to be queen at a very young age. She was a Hebrew lady, and she was chosen to be queen at a very young age. She was groomed nicely and everything, they put all kinds of perfumes and nice lotions and spas and all that. And finally, the king had to choose among all these women who he wanted to be his bride. And he chose Esther. And so, Esther was a very nice woman, and and at that time you could not go to the king simply and ask for things. You had to just stay away. When the king calls you, then you can go to the king. So her cousin, he was out with the people at the time, and he heard something. He heard that the bad guys wanted to kill all the Jewish people. That's bad. So Queen Esther, she would be spared definitely because she is living in the palace. But she heard this from her cousin. And so she said, "Pray for me." She told the cousin. She said, "Pray for me. I will go to the king when the time is right." So she fasted and she prayed. And when the time was right, she wanted to go before the king. And the king allowed her to come. And then she told the king the story, and the king spared all the Jewish people just because she was willing to go and help. She was willing to go and speak before the king. Now, so today's lesson is on speaking up for our country, speaking up to God, asking God, pleading with God for our country. Now, COVID-19 has hit us hard, right? And this past week, I'm sure you have heard your parents talk, or you've read Facebook, or you've heard the news, and you've heard that our country is on lockdown. And also the king has called for it to be an emergency lockdown. And that is scary for some people. But you know what, guys? We have the key. We have the power as Christians, as God's children, to go before God and say, "God, save our country. God, we stand before you pleading, just like Queen Esther, pleading for the country." Amen? Brave people of the Bible. That's what we're learning about. And Esther was brave. She was not afraid. She went before the king and she pleaded for her people. God granted her favor. So children, I want to encourage you this morning. No matter how old you are, Esther was very young. At those days, women are just, you're not so important. But she knew that God has chosen her. And you know that phrase, "God has chosen me for such a time as this." You know that one, right? God has chosen you for such a time as this. This was from the book of Esther. God chose her for such a time as this. And God is choosing you. God is choosing us for such a time as this. 2020, 2021, you are here because God has placed you here. So number one, children, know that you are created for such a time as this. Amen? Number two, stand before God on behalf of Malaysia. Children, I want to encourage you to go before God when you pray for everything else, your whole list, your mommy, daddy, sister, brother, whoever. Pray for Malaysia and watch God work wonders. Amen? And number three, ask God for mercy, that God's mercy will come upon His people. Sometimes you hear that we are not treated as well as we should be treated. So ask God. Ask God for mercy. And God will grant us mercy. God will grant us favor because we are His beloved people. And just like Queen Esther, we and our people will be saved. Amen? So the memory verse is this, Matthew 6 verse 9 to 10. This then is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Again, Matthew 6 verse 9 to 10. This then is how you should pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amen. I hope you guys are blessed. Let's go forth. Be brave just like Queen Esther, because you have the power in you. God has given us the key. God has given us the power. Amen. So, ready to say bye-bye, Squeaky? Yeah, you've been good. Bye, guys.